Hey everybody, is it Thursday? It is Thursday. Today's Thursday. What's the date? I can't see it, guys. 17th of August. It's 9 p.m. here in Estonia. Got my white light on, so it doesn't look dark. Actually, I don't think it's dark yet. Actually, it's summer, so it gets dark around, 6 a.m. or something here. So all good. We're going to get started. This is called an AMA. I'm still Kevin Murcko, CEO and founder here at Coinmetro. And I'm wearing my No Fucks Given shirt today. I guess because no fucks are given. I don't know. I know there's a lot of fucks given, actually. Always a lot of fucks given. Just starting off on a non-child friendly show today. Let's get going. So you got a question, ask it, I'll answer it. We may go a half an hour, we may go 45 minutes, we may go for the full hour here. We'll see what happens. So Harold gets the gold medal this week. Boom. Hey Harold, how are you? Wag, I guess would this be Wagey Cagey? Or would this be Waggy Caggy? Comes in second. Silver medal is in the mail from Bucharest, snail mail. Hereby coming in third, Wagey Cagey, Waggy Caggy, I don't know, coming up with a question here. Hey, Kevin, still haven't received my July Ignium payout. No active communication either. What's happening? When will this be resolved? You have to clarify what you mean, Ignium shareholder, Coinmetro bought Ignium payout. We asked people to confirm bank accounts. If you've done that already, and then you should have the payment. If you don't, then I would suggest just reach out to us and we'll let you know what's going on. I know I asked just the other day, because we have August payouts to make now, that there was still, I think, 28K that had confirmed that I believe were sent out today. If not, will be sent out tomorrow. Maybe you're in that batch, or maybe you just haven't confirmed the bank account. Or maybe we tried to send it but didn't have the correct information. So I just ask. I think it's the best way to do it. Hey, Jet Fuel, how are you? Ken, man, how you doing? Cheers, cheers, cheers. Funding secured, not yet. Still working on funding. We now have, I guess, 3 different hats in the ring when it comes to quite a large investment into Coinmetro from different parts of the world. And yeah, working on it. Back and forth, dealing with offers, going back and forth between offers, talking to new parties. I say this a million times. I'll say it again. I've said it on Telegram, but on Telegram, I don't usually use video. So I'll say it like this so you can see me say it, look into my eyes when I say this. Fundraising is a numbers game, right? If you talk, sometimes it takes, I think there's actually a statistic out there. I don't know what it is. I think it takes 1,000 people usually. So you have to talk to 1,000 no's to get one really good yes. And, right now it's summertime. When we started at the beginning of the year, the market was looking kind of okay, then it wasn't. There's just less people to talk to, then there's more people, then people are on vacation. You just have to keep on talking. Eventually, you start to feel that stride. It's kind of like playing a sport. You kind of have, maybe go on a slump. I don't know. Your batting average goes down to like 123. You look like a pitcher from the 1980s that couldn't throw a curveball, trying to hit a home run. I don't know. That was a really bad analogy. I haven't watched sports in a long time. At least I didn't say touchdown when it comes to baseball, because then I would look like an idiot. Anyway, so it's, you get into that kind of that moment where you're good now. That next shot's going in, that next kick's going to go in the goal, that next whatever, right? That next swing is going to knock it out of the park. And we're getting there. And so yeah, still not secured yet, but working on it. Excellent to see you again. Biggest brain in crypto. Thank you, KDA Miner. Let me see. Yeah. I think you might be accurate. Going to get the obvious out of the way. Yeah, we already hit that one. I'll probably give a bit more information sometime during the show, but working on it, guys. Working on it. 3 hats in the ring now. There's been more hats in the ring, but I would say 3 good hats in the ring right now. Nothing inspired the shirt. I literally was cooking. It's 9 p.m. here, and I was actually cooking dinner, and then said, "Oh shit, I gotta go talk to my people." And so I had this shirt on because I don't wear it that much, and it was one of the, it was clean. So I said, boom, no fucks given. I mean, whether that's the right shirt for this show, I don't really know, but nobody wound me up. I'm good, man. I'm good. But it's a good shirt. I like the shirt. It's Estonian, actually. Bought it at a store here in Tallinn. For whatever that's worth. I don't know. And why is it taking so long, do you think? You mean fundraising? Fundraising is always a pain in the ass, man. And the more money you look for, the longer it takes. And we generally, the crypto industry as it is right now, the exchange business as it is right now, with all the wonderful news that always circulates about exchange businesses, is a difficult one to fundraise for when it comes to quote unquote smart money. When I say smart money, I don't necessarily mean smart money, but I keep doing this. Smart. Usually you classify smart money. I'm going to keep doing that because I just like parentheses today. I'm parentheses. Are there parentheses? Yeah. Anyway, my eighth grade grammar teacher is probably rolling over in her grave because, them and they. Now I'm just saying parentheses all the time. I mean, she's got to be having a tough time, man. I feel bad for her. Not really. I hate that woman. Rolling back into this. So it's, the industry itself is at a place. Smart money tends to think that there's a lot more risk in this industry than there actually is. You get news coming out from, just now Prime Trust. You got the same type of, Terra, and, now you have Binance under hot water. And you're going to see more and more of this. And so when that happens, and it's also not a bull market, right? The kind of talking heads don't have a lot of good stuff to say. And so the industry experts, or the experts at the VC, at the smart money, which is probably a 15-year-old that said blockchain once on the dinner table, and his dad was like, you need to advise us, don't really have anything good to say. So they start looking at what they usually call innovative plays, which is kind of VC talk for, let's find a guy who's never made a business before that has a somewhat good idea and totally screw him. So if it goes well, we make all the money. And, when it comes to foundation businesses like exchanges, they're looking at something else. Exchanges were innovative when it was, two guys in a garage, and now, whatever. You either make it or you don't, according to the VC. So finding money is never easy, but there's always combination of stuff that makes it more difficult, right? But we've always found the money. And yes, we're looking for more money now, but, it doesn't really change the game too much, finding more money, if you have to find 5 million, you have to find 100 million to be very, actually the 100 million is probably easier because when you say 100 million, the guys and gals that actually find you the money are like, ooh, my commission will be nice. Whereas the 5 million, they're like, it's like lunch money in Manhattan or something. When can we expect a new onboarding provider for Fiat? Well, we already got one to get SEPA instant and faster payments back online. That's already back online with accounts in Malta and the UK. Credit cards should be online next week. That'll include USD, pound, and euro. And then the big one, the USD. So we do have a provider. We're working on legal memos and all that mumbo jumbo to get those bad boys online. I'm thinking that's probably going to be September, October, but we're trying to get it done as fast as possible. When will it be possible to sell XCM? Hey, Stella. Yeah, good question. I have the same question, actually, because really it's like a question to the market gods more than it is, unfortunately, a question to me. What I can do to answer that question is this. I'm still one of the biggest XCM holders. Always have been, and probably always will be. And I'd love to have some liquidity in XCM. And I have done everything I can without doing things I would probably regret or going way out of line when it comes to how we preach, how we run our business. So I haven't done those things that maybe other businesses have done in the past to try and bring eyes to their tokens. So what can I continue to do? Well, I can start to look to market make. To do that, though, we need capital. And right now we do have capital because obviously we're operating, but we need to hold that capital back to make sure we can extend our runway so we can raise all the money we need so that we have additional capital. And some of that capital is going to go towards creating an actual market for XCM. How long that's going to take? Well, I could tell you it's going to be tomorrow. It very well could be. I get a call tomorrow with one of these guys that I'm talking to and they say, okay, let's get this deal done. Will it be tomorrow? Well, probably not, but could be. I think in reality, if we can solve this problem for the long term by the end of this year, we're in very good position. You got Bitcoin halving coming up and all that great stuff, which is going to move the market. You have probably some type of bull market that'll be built in the lead up to and after the halving. We also will probably start to see some macroeconomic news start to change toward the end of the year into next year. Not actually change, but narrative change. And so, yeah. Do I want to get done before that? Did I want to get it done a year ago? Yes. Did I try to? Yeah. Did Coinmetro try to? Yes. Unfortunately, there are some things we can't control, and there are some things we don't want to mess with. And that's, I think, for the better of the market in general. So we're working on it. I'm working on it. Our team is working on it. We need to get this money in. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Parsec. Is this actually Parsec or someone with a name Parsec on YouTube? Hi, Parsec. How are you guys? What's your typical day like these days? Well, some operations. So back in the saddle for bank accounts and kind of EMIs, banks, and kind of like our financial partners. A little bit of biz dev, majorly fundraising. Fundraising. That's my day. Wake up thinking about fundraising, go to sleep thinking about fundraising, raising of funds. I think I don't know if I can make that any clearer. Do you have the data to understand which accounts bought XCM above 60 cents? We absolutely have that data, sure. And how much they bought? We absolutely do, yes. If ever the floor was removed, could these people be compensated to an extent? Well, I wouldn't want to see the floor removed unless the market was healthy enough to see it removed and not have this issue. However, let's make a hypothetical. I'm going to say this again. This is a hypothetical. This isn't something we're thinking about doing. This isn't something there's some button already made to go press to do it. But let's take a hypothetical. Let's say that floor was removed. We do have XCM in treasury, and there probably would be a way once the price settled on a certain point with liquidity, we would be able to potentially compensate people that bought simply because of the promise of not removing the floor. I think. Now, there was a good amount of XCM bought at 60 cents. Absolutely. We have the numbers. I don't have them sitting in front of me, so I can't, pull it up on screen right now. We definitely could pull up those numbers. That's not a hard thing to do. So that is something we could look at. There's a potentiality we could go down that road to where we, make sure that people don't get hurt in terms of a euro value. The problem with that is that we would probably have to do it for everybody that bought at 60 cents. And maybe people bought without even knowing there was a floor there. So they were taking the risk. You understand? We would not be able to know who was who, and that would get a bit murky. But, if hypothetically we were to think about doing this, we would also think about a way to make sure that we make it as right as possible with anyone that, was promised that floor wouldn't be removed. I'll repeat it again, though. I don't have plans to remove the floor. I think the best thing we could do is get the market back up and bubbling, get liquidity in the market and support it. And then the floor becomes, a topic of yesteryear in Telegram. Do you think realistic by the end of the year, CM will have the funds it needs to be raised? I think it's very possible and it is realistic. I can't control the market. I also can't control what people think of us or the business or, crypto in general. But I think it is possible, absolutely possible. How many employees is CM now? We hit a milestone of close to 100. Then we did performance reviews. We went around the business to kind of optimize things, saying, well, how many people do we actually need to maintain this level of support? How many people do we actually need to maintain this department? We're roughly around 70 now. Also love the VMs in the chat. Keep it up, bud, and we all appreciate what your team is teaming. Thanks, Jack. It's definitely the team and then me. So thanks for including the team there. If it was just me, trust me, these AMAs would be a lot different. Very much so. Is the summer slow market really to blame about the non-funding? Every day there seems to be some new unknown crypto exchange securing multi-million deals. Well, I wouldn't say that's accurate. There's definitely companies that are securing money, but don't always believe everything you read, right? For example, I'll just give you an example. Now, this isn't an exact example about any competitor or anything, but this happens all the time in business. Little parentheses for you. We need to raise money. I need some good PR. So I have another company in our group structure or one of our competitors, one of our suppliers, one of the businesses we work with. And they basically sign like some type of almost like a SAF agreement that says they'll buy a certain amount of the company for the certain amount of money. Maybe there's a share swap, but the share swap is pending some certain milestone when it comes to, the company making money, being profitable, whatever. And we can go out in the public and say, we just sold, 33% of the business. We have this massive business that came online that's going to be supporting us, blah, 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 blah. And, people read that and go, wow. But in reality, and there's a lot of backdoor deals that happen, especially in lightly regulated industries. I haven't seen many unknown crypto exchanges raising the type of funds that we're raising. I have seen $1 million here, or $2 million there. We've already raised more than $2 million in this round. So, it's not, we just don't make announcements about that stuff because we want to close the round, right? It's not make an announcement about raising $2 million. I don't really see how that helps us really. I mean, when someone asks, we can show them what we raised, and they do ask, and that's really where it counts. So I see stupid businesses raising money all the time, but you never know. That's why I say it's a numbers game. Maybe they just they found the right person to talk to with whatever their narrative was. Maybe their narrative was, we're going to totally screw all our clients until we make as much money as possible, and then we're going to close. And whoever they talked to said, wow, that's amazing, I want in. And I talked to the same person and said, we want to treat our customers right, and at the end of the day, become profitable by making sure they are. And they're like, nah, it's boring, I don't want to invest in it. You never know, right? To each his own. I think a biweekly AMA would be better, to be honest, rather than once a month. What do you think? I like talking to you guys. With the schedule right now, monthly is a bit easier. At some point in the future, we may do biweekly. We may go back to weekly. We may go back to, I don't know, every other Tuesday. I don't know. Right now, I think monthly is going to work. I like talking to you guys, though. I'll put it that way. Hey, Kevin, in your last AMA, you told me to write on TG about the Mexican crypto financial real estate company. I know, but you didn't reply back. I read what you wrote. I just haven't really had time to sit down and think about it. So I have read it. Thanks for sending it to me. It wasn't in vain. I will get back to you. Just keep bothering me, man. That's the ticket. Just keep poking. Will there be will there with NED funding? I guess will there with new funding be more focus on actual traders instead of the one-time mom and dad buyers? I think a lot of the stuff we do indirectly focuses on any type of trader. I mean, if we build a good platform, traders will want to use it, or will be able to use it. If we bring in more liquidity, which we need for mom and dad buyers as well, then traders will eventually use it. Will there be, marketing is marketing. And if you're a trader and you're looking for something, then you may find the marketing, SEO, all these different things that get built up over time, as well as just paid marketing, right? The more that we're known, the more people try us out. And if we've done a good job about catering to mom and pop, then we're going to do a good job at catering to traders as well. And so I guess the short answer to that is yes, but there needs to be a place, man, for mom and pops. There has to be, because when you get rid of that element of the market, what are we doing here? We're just going to become another institutional shop. So, fat, bald white guys in front of 37 screens can save a bit of money on their Bitcoin execution. That to me that doesn't get me out of bed in the morning, man. It really doesn't. Like, I could care less about making a rich guy a bit richer, honestly. Now, does that mean we won't service traders? No, of course not. But when it comes to the vision, that vision is just boring. I'd rather change the world than just keep on making it the same, keep on getting the rich get richer and the poor get poorer type of thing. Runway update. You mentioned small tickets are in. I know you've cut down monthly burn. How many more months? We're about in the same situation as when I mentioned 6 months the last time, because we've been able to optimize. So we're still sitting around 6 months, and we will continue to optimize and, bring in small money if we have to, in order to kind of perpetually have some amount of runway in front of us so we can focus on getting the money we need to, not have to worry about runway, or becoming profitable and not having to worry about runway. Either one of those would be good. I prefer the latter, but the former will work in the short term. Thumbs up. Yeah, guys, if you're watching, give a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Coinmetro appreciates it. Everybody who owns XAM would probably appreciate it as well. There's got to be some kind of indirect correlation there, I imagine. By the way, why are you in a cave? I'm not in a cave. This is my office, man. This is my office in the office. I must have been in this thing for like 40 AMAs or something, 50. I don't know how many times I've been in this thing. Way more, because I used to do them weekly. I forgot about that now. It's got to be 200 AMAs in this office. Wow. I felt old this morning. Now I feel ancient. What is the plan on integration of Ignium into Coinmetro? Hey, Ken. I think eventually the plan's going to be to probably use some of that NFT stuff for gamification inside of Coinmetro. Probably incorporate the market, the billboard market, maybe even use billboard for other things other than those NFTs, tokenized securities like Ignium started off with. I'm still a fan of the tokenized bonds and the tokenized, debt and equity. I'm still a fan of that, and I think we should bring it back. XCM holders distribution. 1% have 1 million, 5% have 500K, 50% have 10K X. We definitely have that data as well. Again, I don't have it sit in front of me, but we have that data. We have a massive data lake that we've created over the past 2 years. We can pull all kinds of really cool data, and it's helped the business immensely, especially decision-making processes. And we can definitely pull that data, Jack, no problem. How many employees and contractors are left right now, and do you need to thin out? Like I said, I think we're around 70, 60-ish. We don't necessarily need to thin out. I think there is a limit. There might be a little bit of space if we had to in terms of people. I think there's probably a bit more we can get rid of in terms of costs, running costs. But it wouldn't be maybe 10, 15, 20% of what our current burn is. But we'll do it if we have to. In terms of people, maybe 10% is, we're not planning to do this. If anybody's listening, you guys are watching home, all the great people that work at Coinmetro, we're definitely not planning that. But this is a question. I'm giving a hypothetical. Hypothetical being that, yeah, maybe. But once we go beyond that 10%, we would drastically affect, I think, our ability to deliver the type of service we want to deliver. What's in the pinata? Why have you broken up? I don't think there's nothing in the pinata. This was given to me as a present for a birthday, I think, maybe 5 years ago here. And I didn't have the heart to put a hole in its back and fill it with shitty candy. So it's just been chilling, man. It's been chilling. It's been through, I think it's been here for almost every AMA, to be honest. I mean, look at the face, man. You can tell. I don't know if that's just shock, awe, or just, utter boredom. But there's pain in that face. Is Coinmetro still actively buying up XTM? Haven't seen any 60 price action on CoinGecko. We still buy up based on volume, but obviously with small volume, we're making small purchases. There's someone named Donald with a koala picture that called XTM a scam. Yeah. Well, I mean, as you know, you should know, right, being on the internet, that I think it's not the first rule on the internet, but it might be the third rule. If you have a name of a duck and a picture of a black and white animal, then you're trustworthy. That's the third or fourth rule on the internet. You can quote me on that one. Just find the internet rule book and look it up. I read it cover to cover at least twice. So I bought it at 60 cents without knowing there was a previous floor, and that without knowing there were previous floors, and that was the last one. Yeah, well, so that's an example of someone that took the risk. But you can also argue that if there wasn't a floor, there might be liquidity just at a lower price. So is that a worse risk or a better risk? I don't know. How much XCM has Coinmetro bought and burned since the price floor? I don't have that sitting in front of me, but you can probably, well, if anybody has a screenshot from, at some point before the floor where it showed how much we had burned, or I think at that time vaulted for the most part, I think it's probably like somewhere in the range of maybe 200. Well, actually, since the price floor went in effect. Well, there was definitely a decent amount of price action for a bit of time around the floor. Then there wasn't. It's a good question, man. Jasmine, I can't give you an answer on that one, but if you hit me up on Telegram, I can get the data for you. Margin orders cannot be closed right now because the max exposure can be higher than the max selling limit. Was this an oversight when the book was reset? It wasn't an oversight. It was just, we kind of said the same thing out loud, and we're like, well, if the book moves, the idea was, if the book was moving, 5,000 XCM should be a relatively small amount of liquidity to burn through, and people can close in pieces. And now, as we know, it moves very slow. So even if you were able to close bigger orders, you wouldn't be closing those anyway. So it wasn't necessarily an oversight. It was kind of like, let's see what happens, because we don't want to put a limit and then have certain individuals with large positions be able to pass that limit. And so, yeah. It's hard to make a rule that doesn't affect someone in what they perceive to be, or what may everybody perceive to be, a negative light. That's a difficult one, especially in something like this. Do you feel like Coinmetro lost its hedge on the sex business, gem listing, copy strike? Lost its hedge. Okay. I don't know I think during different times of the business, we had a different edge, right? Our edge was different. Yes, gem listing, which I think we still do. We just also do other listings as well. We still have a process we go through. Support, I don't think we've lost that at all, not even close. Copy trading, I think, is a great way to earn revenue. I don't really think it's an edge per se. I still think UI, UX, I think support, I think the effort we put into listing, and the fact we don't list everything just because, the fact that almost all those things tie back to the fact that we try to make sure that the customer experience is good, and we put more effort behind making sure you guys have the ability to do well before we do. And I think that's the major edge we have, and I don't think that's changed at all. Who can I reach out to regarding the July Ignium cash out? Been emailing back and forth support since 3rd of August and no resolution in sight. Just DM me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko, and I'll make sure you send me your registered email address from Ignium, and I'll look into it tomorrow morning. Recession is still on the table, and BTC would very well to go back to 20K or less, wrecking all alts in the process. I wouldn't be too optimistic about BTC or a bull market helping XCM. Well, you can look at that two ways. Free capital from normies. Yeah, if there's a recession. I mean, to be honest, we've been in a recession for a while now. I mean, they could change the definition all they want. The economy sucks globally. And people spent money on dumb shit when, they thought that, I don't know, for whatever reason, what they thought. But I think you're right. However, institutional money might be a different story inside of a recession, because where are you going to put your money? And to a certain extent, wealthier, even higher up middle class people, where are you going to put your money? And yeah, you're right. I'm not saying that we're going to see a bull market right into the end of this year. I do think, though, you're going to start to see a narrative shift. I think you're going to start to see interest rate shifts. You're going to start to see all that kind of stuff. There's only, they can only raise for so long until eventually it either just stays where it is, and that's obviously has its effect, and eventually they need to cut, and eventually need to print more money. And, there's only a few buttons they have. They've been pushing the let's raise interest rates button a few too many times, just like they pushed let's cut interest rates too many times. And, they always make the same mistakes. So I'm not saying that I think we've been in a recession in many parts of the economy, many parts of the world. It's just been masked for, well, you can pick the political reason why you think it is, but, it's probably political. I think announcing smaller funds coming will be beneficial, actually. If someone hears of others investing in CM, it would help them FOMO in. Well, if we're trying to bring in small tickets, I think you're right, but that's not what we're trying to do. And obviously, when you talk to anyone, the first thing they want to know is what you're doing. And if they're interested, they go, "Hey, have you raised any money, and from who?" And then that's when you give them the information they want. And so I think it has a benefit. We're not trying to raise 50,000 or even 100,000 tickets. We're not trying to raise, if we were doing a small raise with individuals, I think you're absolutely right. But at this point, we're not doing that. And the community, well, you guys can come here and listen to me, and you can ask, right? And normally, I'm not one to shy away from a question. When are you next in the UK? Any fundraising interest from London? Next in the UK when I have to be, so don't know. London, I've definitely had talks with either institutions and or individuals from London, but no, I would say hardcore interest as of now. Just kidding about the look of the wall, right? All the new lighting highlights its texture more. Well, I'm glad you can see it. I mean, that's good. Will the integration of Ignium be able to buy, sell CM? Yes, that would be part of that integration. Absolutely can. Are you still into the Basecamp project becoming a reality? I'd love to see it become a reality. Absolutely. Thoughts on the SEC targeting many projects, Kev? Will most end up like the XRP case? I mean, I said this was going to happen, for years, and that it was going to take 3 to 5 years, and you were going to start to see more and more of these lawsuits. And yeah, here we are 5 years later. You're seeing more of these lawsuits. The XRP thing, I made a prediction that a judge would say that XRP wasn't a security, but eventually would say that it was sold like one, which would mean Ripple and or some of the principals will still be in trouble. And I still think that's how that case is going to pan out. When it comes to, and that's why we never delisted XRP, because there wasn't a reason to. And I love seeing all these posts on Twitter, Coinbase or whoever. We're the first to relist XRP. They should have never delisted it. There was no reason to, literally zero reason, zero risk, zero. Had the judge said it's a security, well, we probably would have delisted it too. But guess what? He didn't. Anyway, the SEC is doing its job, which is supposed to be enforcement. So they're going to try to enforce. They're going to lose some, they're going to win some, and it's going to help shape new regulation. So it's part of the process. Yeah, I took the risk, but I'm still okay with my XCM. Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you're okay. We could still be in a bear market in 6 months. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. As I said, I think the narrative is going to start to switch end of the year into next year. I'm not saying that we're going to be in a bull market at the end of the year. Did you finally agree on something with Harold? We all know Harold, the know-it-all night. Know-it-all night? Is that Harold's nickname? Oh my God, just appeared here as I wrote it. Hey, buddy. The know-it-all night. Not yet, but Harold laid out a plan of something he would like to do, needs a bit of funding. And yeah, kind of mulling it over, I guess. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not 100% sure it will have the impact he thinks it might have. He could be right, though. It's not a major cost, but it's an extra cost, and all extra costs right now need to be decided by not just me. And so, yeah, there's a process going on to see whether we move forward or not. But yeah, we've been chatting. What's a good way to get rid of hemorrhoids? I don't know, man. I think you probably got a cream for that, right? Yeah, I'd say get some cream. Yeah. Yeah, and then if you have a friend you really don't like, invite him over, and then tell him to like go get you some water or something. And then when he turns around, moon him and say, "Could you help me with this cream?" And then he'll never come back to your house, or he'll never leave. So, yeah, bit of a risk there. Yeah, man, no problem. Like I said, I answer pretty much everything. So, do you think the SEC will greenlight a spot? Eventually, yeah, but no, not currently. There's no reason to. There literally is no reason, and it won't do anything for the market either. Zero. Narrative shift before the U.S. elections. Money printers back on by then. Well, U.S. election is a wrinkle, faux show. But going into that election, obviously the incumbent is going to want to try to make the economy look good. And with high interest rates going to the end of the year, Christmas, all that shit, New Year, taxes, you know, I wouldn't bet against it. Could something like Coinmetro Pro with different products and services geared toward the professional trader are not available on regular CM bring in volume? That's kind of the playbook of everybody else. I don't know if that's because it always works or because no one has tried to do anything else. Maybe, but I think we should just have a really good platform that's easy enough for beginners, but that has everything that I'm not going to go as far as professional, because let's be clear here, guys. For the most part, a professional trader, most of them aren't in crypto. And if they are, they're API trading for the most part. They're not messing around with platforms. So, but a professional retail, someone that knows what they're doing and someone that doesn't, the same platform should be able to suit them. Will staking be introduced for Chainlink, Quant, Parsec, or Cadena? I'd like to see passive income products for all assets, but we need a way to support them and sustain them. Yeah, me too, man. I like Cadena. Why not try to reach good traders around the world instead of targeting a couple of ICO investors? Targeting a couple ICO investors with what exactly? And do you don't take this the wrong way. Maybe it's because I got my no fucks given shirt on, right? But do you honestly think that we sit around all day and say, how can we possibly get these 3 people that are trading, there's 1,000 active traders or 2,000, whatever, to trade a bit more rather than how can we get new people in the door? I know that when you look at other businesses and you think, oh, well, Binance did it. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, they did it. All right. How they did it, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And I wouldn't be able to come out and talk to you guys with a straight face. So I think that, just because you see others doing it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone can do it the same way, that it's easy, that it's morally correct, so that it's done in a way that will preserve the business and protect the end user, right? So obviously that's something we want to do. You need to have infrastructure to do that. You need to build up products. You need to have a great team. You need to be able to make sure you can take that great support and the DNA of Coinmetro, which is great support, great UI, basically treating people like humans, and expand that when you bring on many more clients. All that stuff takes time. All that stuff takes investment. And, we've been doing funding rounds a few times throughout the last few years, and we're now at a point I think we can grow. We just need the money to do it. So it comes back to resources, and resources is always a thing when you're a startup and when you're burning money. It's always resource. So obviously that's something we've thought about. Sure. Updated thoughts on Solana and Hedra latest developments. I still think Sol needs to be listed on CM sooner than later, as well as Octa, Render, and Akash. I believe at least one of those is on the short list right now. The same one may also be on a list of securities by the SEC. Again, doesn't really mean anything until there's some type of judicial precedent and something legitimate on the books. But I am not a fan of Solana. That doesn't really mean anything. I'm just not a fan. I don't really see so much of the benefit when I look at all other layer ones. I see the benefits of Solana, but I see them outweighed by some of the things that I think are kind of negatives or are negatives. And I also see other companies doing the same or virtually the same or very similar things on the positive side with less of the negative. Hedera, I think as a business, the thing is I think Hedera has a great business model, but I'm not sure if that business model necessarily means all that much for their token at the end of the day. In fact, I think at some point, maybe that token goes away. There's always this question of is a token needed? And somebody at some point, I don't know if it was on Telegram or Twitter, said, well, it's a layer one. Of course they need a token. No business in the world needs a token. Some of them can use them to make their businesses more optimized, incentivize people to use whatever technology they're using, which at the end of the day benefits everyone, but they don't need a token. No one does. That's the reality. Just like no one theoretically needs many things that they have in their life, even though you may think you need it. No, it just makes your life easier. Repeat question as you think you missed above. The community would like access to data on XCM, et cetera. What's the best route? You can ask support. We don't have a public data channel. Obviously, some of that data is used by us to optimize our business, and thus I'm not necessarily sure we would release it. Plus some of that data, even though it's, I guess, not necessarily tagged to any one individual user, it's not necessarily anonymized, might be some GDPR issues there. I don't know. But you can definitely ask. I mean, we might say no, but I'd ask support. Litigation banding is the best treatment for hemorrhoids. There you go. Jasmine Beard coming in with an answer to that really difficult question. PRQ looks great in this bear market. What a team. Credo is interesting as well. God bless Coinmetro Gems. Thanks, Mr. A. Appreciate that. Some exchanges are moving to a subscription model for some services. What are your thoughts? Yeah, Coinbase did, then had one of their best revenue, highest revenue ever, or something like that. We talked about subscription plans back in 2018. And there was a FX company called Collective FX. They're not open anymore. They were based out of Belize. They were the first company I ever saw in any financial market do a subscription model. It ran from $9.99 a month up to $99 a month. I think $99 a month was unlimited trading. And that's at 500 to 1 leverage, which, yeah, I think that's why it broke. Coinbase, I think, is what, $30 a month? That must mean their average client makes them less than that. So they probably make 20 something a month, 15 a month off the average client. They know most people are going to go, wow, unlimited trading or whatever, or unlimited withdrawals, whatever they're giving, and go, oh, well, I'll definitely breeze through that, because they don't do math. They don't realize that unless they use their widget every day for, every day of the year, every day of the month, they're never going to spend that much money on fees. And that's how subscription models work, and that's why they work. I think it's a great idea. I'd like to do it a bit differently. It is actually a topic of discussion in Coinmetro right now. But there is no any sign for that. You have to create a path to follow to get new traders, not users. I don't know if that's a question. I think that's a statement. So I appreciate your statement. Maybe you should go back and listen to my answer again. There needs to be certain things in place, because look, if you get into a trader community and you're just not good enough, then everybody in that trader community is not going to come and try you out. And traders usually work in communities. Either they're part of a Discord, they're part of a Telegram group, whatever, or they talk to their friends who generally are potentially in the same industry, do the same things. And so we've been building a lot of stuff over the years to make sure that once we really try to push to get those type of people without, I don't want to alienate mom and pops. And it's not because we make tons of money on them or because they're just not good traders, because we don't trade against our clients anyway. It's because the reason I started this business was because I wanted to make sure that normal people had the same access and ability to generate wealth that the traders do. And so that's still the reason I get out of bed in the morning. Can you support Taraxa? I've been asking for years. Now they have their own chain with generous staking, so Coinmetro could run a profitable staking program. Theoretically, yes. I have no idea what it is. But yes, we could. I guess the question is, would we? And that's up to the listening committee. So you can put that in the suggestion channel on Telegram, and the listening committee can take a look. Did you say it's 9 p.m. right now for you? What's your typical day like? Wake up, work when, eat when, family when? You get me. Hey, Jack. It really depends. When since November of last year up until maybe May or June, I was traveling. I was only home for a couple weeks out of that whole time, and traveling and talking to people about fundraising, which generally meant late nights, sometimes early, sometimes late mornings, and then hustling around to events and hustling around to lunch meetings and dinner meetings, and then hanging out at the hotel trying to catch more meetings before I got on a plane to go somewhere else. Now I've been in Estonia now for about 2 months, and which, for the past 5 years, I've been in Estonia most of the time, but this past 6 months has been just travel crazy. My day, I'm up 8, 9 o'clock, kind of get settled in, check Slack, check Telegram, check WhatsApp, emails, have a little list of to-dos from the day before, try to get those out of the way, check some small operational stuff. Then I start following up with investors. I start just doing online research to see who's raising what, who's talking to who. Have a few calls here and there, a couple meetings here and there. Try to interact with my family throughout the day because I generally work in the house. I mean, my office is connected to the house. Try to make it an early night, usually have a bit of more family time, try to eat together with the family. Try to keep it as normal as possible when I'm here. After funds raised, what's the priorities for dev projects, PR, and highest to lowest? Would like to plan ahead, looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. Oliver probably talked a bit about product in his product spotlight. Funds raised, XCM, that's up there. If that's not number one, it's tied. Hiring, bringing in just amazing, building out our operational team and our board at the C-level. I would like, to be honest, this is my own opinion, I'd like to be CVO, Chief Visionary Officer. I'd like to move into completely basically focusing on what amazing shit can we do next, motivating people and just getting it to the point where somebody else can take hold of it and make it happen. Still be in the face of the company, still doing this kind of stuff, still interacting with you guys, but change to almost no operational kind of input. That's what I'd like to do. And I see that as a personal goal for myself. Still spending the same amount of time, if not more time at Coinmetro, still putting in probably way more energy and way more emotion, but doing things I genuinely really like to do. And operations, I don't like operations. It's not something I can or can't do. I can do it. Anybody can do it, to be honest. But I like the motivational side. I like getting people excited. I like twiddling around with ideas. I like the creation. I like all that stuff. When it comes to projects, going down that hybrid path, kind of refocusing attention on the product suite we have, and making sure that that we've been doing this. This is kind of ongoing, but everything from emails to notifications to how the system works to how people interact with it to how the mobile app interacts with all this stuff, just really fine tune all that stuff and make it as streamlined as it can be. Hybrid is definitely, XCM definitely, getting the book back in shape, absolutely. Building out some new cool stuff that no one else is doing. Focus more on the electronic money kind of banking services as well as passive income. I think that's important. UBI type stuff. Automating people's journeys through investing, helping people do better with their money. Education. I got a lot of things, man, but XCM is up there on the list. I still find crypto a lot more difficult to day trade than futures of Forex, as it's much more manipulated with sudden spikes. Well, it's less liquid. So yeah, even with BTC, low daily relative volatility until then somebody, illiquid. I mean, even BTC is a liquid comparatively speaking to other things like futures. Any thoughts on listing Caspa? I must have got like 50,000 tweets in like a week about Caspa. I wasn't a big fan when I looked at it. Looks like a pump and dump to me. It looked like a pump and dump, to be honest. Just the way that the market was moving, low liquidity, moving, and then dropping out, and then basically all tuned in, all timed when all these different spam messages were going around Twitter and Telegram. But let's see what happens. I'd rather wait it out and see if the project has legs. I talked to the Stasis team recently, and they are open for discussion. I'm open to reach out to them again. Sure. Hey, if you want to put together an email, Harold, and just email them, CC me. Let's get rocking and rolling. Thank you for the suggestions. I'm going to moon my friend Chris. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, cool. Please take a video, but don't show it to me. Are there still plans to concentrate shift to Discord? That's going to depend on who takes over kind of social from our side. So could be. Now that Discord has voice messages, I could see myself over there a bit more. Do you think proof of work still has the bite it used to have when POS is controlling the environment narrative? Having most of the miners be in a pool and manufactured by a few companies isn't decentralized. Well, nothing's truly decentralized. Let me throw that out there first. I think proof of work might not be perfect, but I still prefer it in many ways over proof of stake. I don't think either of those two will be the narrative winners 5, 10, 15 years from now, to be honest, even less. You're right that, having to create pools, but pools weren't necessarily created. They were created because people generally move towards centralized things. It's like, shit, I can't do this by myself. Let me find somebody else to help me. And that's never going to change. So, and to be honest, once AI kicks in and we start kind of having decentralized services with no human input, depending on how that AI was initially conceived, if it has any human qualities, AI may centralize decentralization to a certain extent as well. What do you think about LLMs, their theoretical evolution, and the upcoming procedural generative audio video models? Maybe blockchain plus biometrics will be the only solution against advanced deep fakes. It's a great question. I tend to think that anything created by a human, no matter how much it can snowball without human input, is going to reach a ceiling to which it needs some form of input. The question is, at that point, would it be kind of open to receiving input from a human to adjust, or would it know enough to not accept that help? And I think there's a lot of conundrums here that people make assumptions that are pure assumption. I mean, they're all hypotheses right at this point. So deep fakes, I don't know if, blockchain and biometrics, yes. Anything that can be created can be faked. So at some point, these things will also be able to be faked. And then there's always going to be something else. I remember years ago, people were looking at, using heart rate to be your password. And they were bracelets and all kinds of stuff. And that kind of fizzled away. Maybe it wasn't as accurate as I thought it was. I remember seeing something about it being hacked. Point is that this is always going to be a running battle. So, every time there's a new technology, there'll be somebody that can break it eventually, or a computer. And now that once you get into quantitative computing, once you get into really, really immersive kind of AI, et cetera, machine learning, then it's just going to move that much faster. You'll have kind of one group of systems trying to create something benevolent, and one group of systems trying to create something to break it. It's interesting, but I'm not so worried about it for some reason. I like to actually see shit break before I get worried that it's going to break. I like to prepare for it to be broken, but I think things need to break, because if things don't break, we don't know how to fix them. Excellent, AMA. Cheers. First one I made this year. Awesome, Jack. Hey, always clash with getting the little I don't know why I'm mumbling to myself now. Sorry, it's long. It's 50 minutes in, man. It's like 10 p.m. now. I'm old. I think they will just have to listen each month. Will be good for them. Yeah, get the kids on here, man. Have them ask me a question like, what's my favorite color or something. I'll try not to say no fucks given, at least, not so many times, so that they don't, start flipping you off or something when you don't, give them cereal for breakfast or something. I don't know. Do you believe the WEF controls the governments around the world? No. Pushing their agendas like 2030 agenda, etc. No, I don't. But money is pretty easy to control anything. People with lots of money can definitely control things better than a lot of small people with a little bit of money. You got to listen to one dude and he's got the money, rather than listening to everybody who collectively don't even have as much money. And, that's an easy way to break it down, but that's how the world works. So does the WEF control governments? No. Does money control government? Absolutely. Does the WEF have a lot of money, meaning the people that are actually part of the WEF, people that go there every year, the rich people that go there, take the private planes? Yeah, of course. There's a lot of money there. Is money inherently evil? No, not necessarily. Do evil people have money? Yeah, unfortunately. Quantum computing plus AI, eventual singularity. Interesting times to live in. Thanks for your answers, Kev. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thanks for the questions, and thanks for summing up my stupid answer in a very smart way. I appreciate that. Anyway, guys, we're gonna hit there. I think I got every question. If I missed yours, hit me up on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Kevin Murcko. I can tweet you, or I can DM you, or PM you. For the longest time, I kept hearing the term DMs in songs, and I thought it was something derogatory. That's ridiculous. This happens when you get old, man. This happens when you get old. Anyway, appreciate the time, everybody. Appreciate for listening. As you know, it'll be the weekend in exactly like some more 36 hours or something. So, when you see grandma, go check up on grandma, make sure she's still alive and breathing. Bring her some cake or something sugary, because that's really good for old people. Get that diabetes up. And when she gets really excited, let her know that XCM is a cure-all for everything, because we all know that it is. There should be a disclaimer here right now that says it's not, but our video guy, terrible. Anyway, buy XCM is what I'm trying to say. Have a great weekend. Thanks everybody for being here. Hit me up on Telegram. I always enjoy talking to you guys. And have a great weekend ahead, and a great week next week, and a week after that, and a week after that, and I'll see you here in about a month. Cheers.